Have you ever stood inside an elevator where four steel walls turn your face into four strangers staring back? You press a button. The doors hesitate, polite like an unseen doorman, then simply refuse to close. You take a breath. From the vent comes a draft that doesn't belong to this building, like someone whispering through the ductwork. A young woman steps into frame. The red of her jacket is a spark in the gray. She taps buttons in a quick cluster, as if trying to wake a sleeping metal animal. The doors stay open. She pulls back, folding herself into the corner as if answering a call only she can hear. Her fingers draw symbols in the air, not a dance, not a plea, more like measuring the distance between herself and the invisible. Then she exits the frame. The doors slide shut, the car rises, or falls, or sits still. No one knows. Days later, someone lifts the lid of a rooftop water tank and finds silence. Silence has a shape. It weighs as much as a steel cover. It has a name, Elisa Lam. Tonight, we won't ask the elevator to go up or down. We'll step inside it, like entering a confession that was never said out loud. Welcome to Veil Files, Unclosed Case Files. Here, the dark isn't for fear, it's for understanding. We tell stories that haven't shut, in a noir voice, respecting the truth, the victim, and the intelligence of the listener. In this episode, we enter Elisa Lam, the Cecil Hotel elevator mystery. We'll use the light of reason to read each frame, and the humility of the heart to keep a tragedy from becoming a pastime. If you're ready, stand tall with us in the elevator. At the Cecil, even silence has cameras, and every door has a memory. We begin where every journey looks the same, the lobby, and a young woman carrying a notebook full of sentences left unfinished. Los Angeles doesn't sleep, it just changes position. By day, it's a backlot. By night, it's a harbor for stories missing their last page. The Cecil Hotel, once cheap, now expensive by rumor. The neon outside tells you you're welcome, while the long corridors murmur, tread lightly. At the Cecil, there are doors behind doors. The elevator isn't just transport, it's the building's stomach. It swallows people, digests secrets, and returns a ding like metal clearing its throat. Elisa arrives with her eyes wide, the way anyone arrives somewhere new, hoping something will change a life, promising to write more, to live more. In her backpack are a few books, prescribed pills, and plans without bullet points. Because happiness is hard to schedule. From the lobby to the elevator is only a few dozen steps. But in noir, a few dozen steps can stretch the length of a lifetime. Not everyone packs the same luggage. Some fold shirts, others fold fears. Elisa writes more than she talks. Her words unroll like a map of the self, one district shaded by doubt, another glittering with cracked laughter. When you enter a new city, your mind drafts a safety route, which cafe to sit in, which library to breathe in, and which floor makes the mirrors less threatening. The Cecil offers her a cheap bed and a room with echoes. And then the elevator, our supposedly minor character, demands the lead role. The video plays like a social experiment with no observer. Alisa enters, and her posture says the body is scanning for signals. She jabs a string of buttons, logical yet edged by panic. The doors don't close. Space becomes a question. When she tucks herself into the corner, the elevator looks bigger, not because the square footage changed, but because fear expanded. Then the hands, neither dance nor signal, more like drawing a boundary between herself and a shadow she believes stands just outside the frame. Some say they see ghosts. Some say they see illness. I, the narrator, see a human being trying to speak to something that doesn't speak our language. She steps out of frame. The doors close like a period. But a period ends a sentence, never a life. 3. On day 1, time still belongs to the busy. Day 2, the room becomes a witness. Damp towels, unfinished items, everything whispering, "I'll be right back." Day 3, schedules collapse, and people start asking questions they should have asked sooner. Detectives arrive. Their footsteps have a rhythm. Find, then rule out. But in a building like the Cecil, space is more ambiguous than blueprints. The roof isn't just a roof, it's the edge of safety. 2 weeks pass. Guest complaints climb into headlines. Low water pressure, dark tinge, strange taste. A maintenance worker unlocks the water tank. Steel scrapes steel with a sound that shouldn't belong to a normal morning. They look and fall quiet because some discoveries don't need words. From that moment on, every question sits behind a steel lid. We'll knock gently and listen for any answer the lid can give. Let's speak with objects. The elevator, a metal box with rules. Doors close when circuits allow, it has no mood. The tank lid, a heavy disc, it does not flip on its own and tuck itself back. The rooftop, a graded zone of safety, access not strictly tight, not wholly loose. In noir, are objects accomplices or witnesses? Answer: they're witnesses. Accomplices need will, and metal has only weight. But people assign will to objects, the same way we assign suspicion to strangers. That's how a crowd turns into a detective without a badge. Before we try on theories, we'll do something rare. Ask the right questions in the right order. 1. What do we see? A chain of unusual movements, delayed doors, defensive body language. 2. What do we not see? The full hallway, the stairwells, the roof. 3. What can we infer without slander? She is afraid of something. That something could be outside or inside her mind. 4. What must we avoid? Filling the blanks with malice. When a crowd shortcuts from abnormal to crime, justice gets left inside the car. Our job as narrators is to keep the doors open just long enough for reason to step in. Now 3 T's: medical, mechanical, and mystical. T1. Medical. The mind is a tower with more floors than any hotel. When meds slip out of rhythm, reality can grain like old film. Self-protective gestures, talking to the empty air, fear with a silhouette, all can be explained without summoning the supernatural. T2. Mechanical. Elevator doors can stall under hold settings, sensors, or minor faults. An elevator has no ethics, it has electricity. T3. Mystical. The Cecil is a warehouse of dark stories. Where a place holds too many sighs, people hear a howl even when the wind is asleep. Mystery can be useful, so long as it doesn't hide human responsibility. 3 T's unlock 3 rooms. But there's only one fire exit: respect for truth and the dead. The roof is the border between inhabited and uninhabited. Water tanks are memory bays, water in, water out, sometimes keeping what it shouldn't. The lid is heavy. Access steps aren't always kind. Can someone reach it alone? Yes. Is it safe? Rarely. Hotel water runs through hundreds of stories a day. Washing hands, making coffee, rinsing away the ordinary. Sometimes you only notice taste when the story is already too late. In noir, every road leads back to conscience, the managers, the watchers, the storytellers. As the footage spreads, frames stretch into theories. People slow, freeze, zoom, draw, stacking edits into arguments. Sometimes right, sometimes harmful. Justice asks for evidence, a crowd asks for feeling. When we forget the difference, every potential victim becomes a character to dissect. We'll do the opposite. Return Elisa to personhood, not icon. Picture Elisa in a corner cafe, setting down a cappuccino and opening a notebook. She writes about ordinary longing, to be well, to be happy, to make life make sense. Anyone who has regulated a heartbeat with medication knows A normal day is a quiet victory. This isn't just a mystery. It's an ethics exam each time we press play. And when ethics steps into the elevator, the neon outside glares a little less. There's a skill few practice. Reading silence. Silence has speed, weight, and direction. The way Elisa slides into the corner, leans out, then retreats. That's a body processing a stimulus without a name. You can call it disorder. You can call it fear. I call it honesty. The body is more truthful than words. So the final question, what does an elevator teach us? An elevator teaches waiting. Doors close when the moment is right. Forcing them only makes alarms chirp. In life, we must wait for others too. For balance to return, for meds to help, for a better day to arrive. If you've ever hated a slow elevator, perhaps you've never been trapped inside yourself. Night touches morning. Rain quits. Some stories don't dry, they just stop dripping. We've walked from front desk to rooftop, from buttons to a tank lid, from a frame to silence. None of us has the right to fill the blanks with imagination that wounds. Elisa Lam remains a person, not a meme. May every elevator you ride after tonight, when it rings a soft ding, remind you doors close out of respect for whoever is inside and for their story. You've been listening to Veil Files, Unclosed Case Files. If this episode made you think twice before pressing play on someone else's tragedy, leave a comment about what you learned from this story. Subscribe so you won't miss the next case, where we choose truth over shock and respect over voracious curiosity. And if one night you stand in an indecisive elevator, doors lingering, smile a little and whisper, "I can wait." See you in the next file. Tonight, let the doors close quietly.